And welcome back, Tin Top fans, to our BTCC Knockhill Fallout. Yep, all the stuff coming out of the Knockhill rounds, where Tom Ingram still reigns supreme as the championship leader. Let's have a look, shall we? At the current standings, we've got Tom Ingram on 278 points, Jake Hill on 275, Ashtat on 258. So it's not too bad. 20 points in those, separating the top three. Then in fourth, still kind of in it, we've got Dan Camish on 236, Colin Turkington picking up another win on 224, as well as Jake Hill. He's kind of still in, I think Josh Cook as well. Rob Huff up to 7th, and what a final race that was. But that's essentially your top 7. Then we got Dan Roybos, Tom Chilton, and Aaron Taylor-Smith rounding out the top 10 in that championship. If we want to quickly look at the teams championships, obviously we've got Napa Racing UK leading on 509, Bristol Street Motors 437, the team doing BMW on, let's be fairly humble compared to the other two, 381, LKQ Euro Car Parts on 366, and Evans Halshaw Power Max Racing on 296, Toyota Gazoo Racing on 275, Laser Tools 269, Restart Racing 114, Duckmans with Bartercard on 52, and Zeus Cloud Racing with WSR on 34. That's I don't think they're racing anymore for the Bobby Thompson, aren't they? Which is really sad. Really sad. So let's get into who we think did very well and who we think didn't do particularly well. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel at this point, simply because I want to at length talk about a bit more about the people I thought really mattered, if I'm honest. So let's get into qualifying, because we didn't manage to cover qualifying, did we? And I think the qualifying star, once again, although he only got the one win. So let's talk about Colin Turkington's weekend, shall we? He ended up qualifying on pole, doing really well. Now in race 1, he won in race 1. So like a massive one on to Colin. And at this point I thought, his championship is going to be back on track. He is going to be in the pound seat. He'll probably win the next race. He didn't. We'll get into that in a bit. So race 2 came, and he dropped to 3rd, which wasn't the worst in the world. So it was, not too bad. But I think overall a much better weekend for Colin than it has been in the past. But we had the 3rd race, and I forgot where he started, but he only finished 9th, which I think was quite disappointing there for Colin Turkington. However, I think he's still within a shout of the Drivers' Championship, albeit he needs to make a hurry up. There's not that long left. I think there's only 3 or 4 rounds left. Give me a second. We are most certainly going to find that out, how many rounds left there are. So the amount of rounds left we have got, let me just transfer here. So what we've got left, we've had Knockhill. Yeah, there are 3 rounds left. We've got Donington Park in a couple of weeks. Well, less than that now, on the 24th of August to 25th. Silverstone then, pretty much a month later, ending then at the beginning of October at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix, which is quite exciting. Of those 3, I wouldn't say the BMW's majorly could be good at Silverstone. They're not going to have an advantage, are they? So poor Colin is definitely going to have to do something for at least the next 2 rounds to be in a hunt at Brands Hatch. Can he? Yes, we've seen he's fast. He can get pole. This is his 2nd pole he's got this year. So I fully expect Colin Turkington to do something good over the next few race meetings. Sorry. So let's talk then also. So that was obviously pole race 1. Race 2 winner though was none other than Jake Hill. And this guy, what a season Jakey baby is having. If I'm honest, I need to go back to my predictions, but I didn't really think. I thought he had an outside chance of the title, and now you can make an argument he's becoming arguably one of the favourites, behind maybe a Tom Ingram and an Ash Sutton. We'll get into Ash in a bit. So Jake Hill in race 1, he finished 5th, which wasn't too bad after what was a disappointing qualifying, so to speak. But then he came through to win quite an exciting race 2, which he did, which I thought was really good. And then we reversed all the way back to race 3, where again he beat his teammate Colin Turkington. He didn't beat his championship rivals Ingram and Ash Sutton though, but he did finish 5th. So I think well done to Jake Hill, a really, really solid weekend from him, as we are now most certainly getting into the business end of the BTCC Championship. So let's have a look at one of our other title contenders, shall we? And his name is Ash Sutton. I think he will be... I don't think he'll be overly happy with with Knockhill, although he is 3rd in the championship, still very much in the hunt for that title. So we had race 1 where he finished 6th, which was okay, I guess, showed good. Race 2, I'm trying to remember where he finished now. I've actually got to look at the results. Where he finished 5th again, which, fair play to him, fairly consistent. But the fact that I've got to look through him, though, he kind of had like a fairly anonymous weekend. He didn't even make the podium, finishing 4th in the race. Now, it's not all falling apart for Ash Sutton. He's one of the best drivers out there, no doubt. However, you start to have to wonder, he's not under pressure like Colin, but what he doesn't want is Jake Hill and Tom Ingram starting to, accelerate away from him at the next couple of rounds, because it could be game over. If it's 20 points coming into the last round, coming into Brands Hatch, I don't think it will be game over, because we've seen funnier things happen before. But I do think he's gonna, if he can get within 10 points of them coming into Brands Hatch. So that's over either the Silverstone and Donington weekend. I think he'll be fairly happy. I expect him to do well at Silverstone and Donington though. And he's going to have to, isn't he? They don't seem, Napa Racing in the hands of Ash Sutton still really good. They don't seem the dominant force though they were earlier this year. Definitely not. Now I want to give a special mention, and I might be a bit biased because since he's come here, I've waved the Rob Huff flag quite severely. So race 1, Rob Huff, what did he do? No, not too much. He finished 8th. In race 2, he ended up finishing, where did Rob Huff at 12th? And then finally, obviously, he won that really exciting race 3 where Tom Ingram, at a lot of points, was all over him. Both of them on the hybrids. Knockhill, not the easiest place to pass, but not impossible. But yeah, Tom Ingram was all over him like a bad suit or a rash, so to speak. And I think Rob Huff did really well to soak up all that pressure. And it makes you confident that if they can sort that Toyota out, not this year, but next year, could he become a championship contender? I absolutely think Rob could become that championship contender. Absolutely he can. So let's talk then about the championship leader, Tom Ingram. This guy is having... he had a mare, didn't he? Let's be fair. It was... Now, for him to have one of the worst weekends of this season and still to come out the championship leader, I think he needs an absolute smile. Absolutely. Look, when we look at race 1, he was out of race 1, didn't he? Finished last, essentially. When we look at race 2, Mr. Tom, he went from last all the way up to 10th, didn't he? And race 3, obviously, as we know, he did finish 2nd. Yeah, he was helped a bit by the reverse grid race, so to speak. But you do make your own luck to a certain extent, and I think he really saved a lot of his weekend in that last race. So well done to Tom Ingram for still leading that championship. We have a much more exciting championship this year, I think, than we have done in the past. Simply, when you look at it, you've got Tom Ingram and Jake Hill separated by just 3 points. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at that again, because it's just absolutely immense, isn't it? 3 points. Then you got Ash Sutton, a further 20 points behind. Then Dan Camish on 236, Colin Turkington on 224, and I think Josh Crook on 222. 6 people can still realistically win that championship. Now, granted, Colin and Josh are going to have really good weekends for the next 2 rounds. But, not impossible, but I think they really are. Josh Crook, I think, will maybe struggle the most, because I think his car is potentially... unless he's very lucky and the hybrid come into play, the lesser of all those cars. all the drivers in the top 6. So if he does, fair play to him. But I think him and Colin very much outside bets. Dan Camish, it's going to be interesting. Team orders are not at play yet. Team orders are not at play for Jake Hill and Colin Turkington yet, I think. But for Tom Ingram, I mean, Tom Chilton 154, yeah, I would now, with 3 rounds left, put team orders into play for Tom Ingram and his teammates. So giving him what could be a really big advantage going in to those last 3 rounds of the championship. So if you made it to the end, please, please, please give us a subscribe. That would be really good. Hit the notification button so you don't miss a BTCC video. We also do Formula 1, rally, and the odd bit of gaming. We'll speak to you soon. Once again, thank you very much.